Everyone knows by now about the scenes that Chris Noth was cut from in the season 1 and Just Like That finale. But did you know that he was in every other episode and those scenes were cut as well? And that the reason that Carrie's signature voiceovers were missing from this series were because all of the voiceovers that were supposed to be in this series were voiceovers of Biggs after his death. But those were also left on the cutting room floor. I got a hold of the shooting drafts, and it starts with season 1, episode 1. Basically, the entire season, Biggs kind of haunting Carrie because she just won't let him leave. She just won't let him go. And so he's trying to convince her to let him go and move on and be happy without him. So this is a video of my best approximation of those scenes, and I think you'll get the gist.
John?
Carrie, what is all this? Carrie.
I don't want to die.
John! Oh, God. Oh, God, John. Oh, John, honey.
I just want to point out that for everybody that thinks she could have done something to save him, she couldn't have. He was already gone by the time she got there. That's clearly why he was standing next to her, confused, because his soul had already left his body. And he was supposed to have been looking at his own ghost, not at Carrie. Big was cut out of this scene because his being there was too obscure and also pretty pervy.
Please stop.
Yeah, right, cowboy.
Embarrassing.
Long story short, MPK had this idea that when your soul leaves your body, it involuntarily goes to visit everyone you've ever known, and in the process can briefly inhabit the body of an animal before moving on to the next person that you knew. Next, Big realizes he's still tethered to this mortal realm via Carrie, so he starts to try to get her attention.
Carrie!
What do I do now? Call Miranda. Oh, wait. No, I can do that. I'm doing it now. Love you.
Carrie!
His bids for her attention are clearly not working until she thinks she sees him, but then just like brushes it off. But she actually did see him, but he doesn't know that she saw him.
Hello. Carrie, you're embarrassing me.
Yep, Big was at his own funeral. He just doesn't like being the center of attention for that many people. He never has. In this next scene, it's kind of obvious why he was cut. It's just weird.
Delivered for you?
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's me.
Number 1, who wrote that? And number 2, who signed off on that?
Carrie.
He's still trying and failing to get her attention, or so he thinks.
This room smells like takeout curry.
But she's kind of starting to sense something.
Where were we?
Not taking your wife's calls.
Sorry. We had a fight. And now she's on my Apple Watch. I better take this. I'm in the Maison du.
Carrie, baby.
She feels his presence, but just thinks that she's grieving. And she is grieving, but he is also around.
I know you've got a lunch, honey. I know. Okay, so
I'll let you go.
Big walked everywhere with Carrie in this episode, and sometimes there was only one set of footprints because Big was carrying her.
This basset hound.
Carrie.
See where she takes me. Okay, much time do you have?
For you, all the time in the world, but I have class in 12 minutes, so start talking.
She can reach me, but I can't get her.
Okay, well, I guess the headline is I Can't Stop Walking.
In this scene, Big attends and really enjoys Shay's comedy concert.
Charlotte is the brunette. Miranda is the redhead.
In this episode, he realizes that she can sense him.
Welcome home, baby.
I have to talk to you.
I've had enough corpses. Are you all right?
And in this next scene, she hears him, but she just thinks that it's her own inner monologue of things that he might possibly say in this situation, and it makes her giggle.
My husband wasn't a great fan of beige.
It's gorgeous. It's all gotta go.
Beige is bullshit.
People need to be able to picture themselves living here, and it's hard to do that with your interesting brewless coffee table screaming, "I'm not you."
I get it.
It's gotta go.
Well, do we really have to do, like, all of it? Don't we just need to find a buyer with vision?
Buyers aren't that complex, Miss Preston. They're like dogs with money.
Oh.
Walk with me.
Oh, what else would I do?
Lovely. It's all gotta go.
I mean, don't get carried away.
And what's in here?
Room for eccentricity.
Okay.
And then there's even a moment where she sees him, he appears to her, and he sees her react but can't figure out what he did to make it happen.
Bathroom.
Oh, wow.
You know what could pull this whole area into focus? A Peloton.
Carrie.
What?
Oh, it's a long story. I don't know, maybe for another time. I'm actually supposed to be in Midtown in 20 minutes.
Let's go.
Who?
Everything in my apartment is now beige.
Hey, you know that part in The Wizard of Oz where the movie goes from sepia to color?
Yeah.
I'm experiencing that in reverse.
What do you mean?
My apartment is totally beige. Everywhere. There's no sign of me. God, it's surreal. It's like we never lived here. Our life is just gone.
Who?
Oh, hell no. The Peloton is back. Okay, I gotta get big and go. I don't belong here anymore.
This was my favorite look of hers in the whole series. Her hair, I loved that it was curly. The highlights just look great. It's a really nice length. I love that the skirt has pockets. I love the color blocking, and I love the shoes. And I also want to point out how it's interesting how she's putting someone who no longer exists into a bag from a store that no longer exists. I'm also curious whether or not she tried to fix the wedding shoes. Is she going to save them? Is she going to keep them as a memento? Or is she going to throw them out because they're ruined? But they were the wedding shoes and the death shoes now.
Just till I can figure out where you really want to be.
Okay.
In this scene, he was watching over Carrie, trying to make her feel better because she was in pain from her surgery. And he couldn't help her though because he doesn't have a body. So he was trying to get Miranda's attention by making the microwave turn on so that Miranda would help her. But he just couldn't get her attention because she was obviously distracted.
Oh, baby.
But it was the first time he realizes he can control electronics, so that was a big deal.
Can I touch you?
Hell, we can do better than that.
I have to pee.
Jesus, Carrie.
Oh my God.
I don't want to talk about this.
Here it is revealed that Big likes Franklin.
Personally triggered by
Sure, what?
city bike.
Me too, Carrie.
He's a lot of fun.
This is on fire today.
Here Big is having like a kind of a voiceover where he's thinking that Carrie and Franklin might actually hit it off. Kind of thinking that maybe that would be a way to get Carrie to kind of let him go is by setting them up somehow. In this next scene, Big is standing over Carrie's shoulder as she writes her book about his loss.
I thought I might see you here.
He's really enjoying seeing her creative process so much more closely than ever before.
Can I have a beer in the book version?
He can tell it's cathartic for her. That makes him happy.
I love that word.
He just likes the book. He's a fan of Carrie and her writing. He even makes suggestions that she takes.
It, as you say, jumps the shark.
He's collaborator and critic and really kind of giving her her first reviews of the book.
Isn't that an interesting phrase?
All the while being much more constructive and kind than, say, the Mashiko Kakatanis of the world.
Mashiko Kakutani.
Michiko Kakamatsa.
Mashiko Kakutani. Mashiko Kakutani. She's the Times book critic.
Chico Kakatani.
Chop wood, carry water.
He's feeling everything she's feeling. He's never understood her more than he does right now.
Don't overthink it.
He's found a new appreciation of her creativity and her mind and her talent.
That's deep, babe.
He realizes this is part of the reason that he hasn't moved on yet,
I think he got a little more self-conscious in a way.
but feels like his moving on is coming closer because this book has been written,
Have a real thought about something.
which means Carrie's moving on. It's a bittersweet moment for him.
The writing was fun and funny.
Some very interesting things happen in this episode.
Big's gone. I have to move on. I have to try something else, start a new chapter. Other people do.
I one foot in front of the other. I don't know.
Big realizes that Carrie is much closer to letting him go, and that knowledge makes him realize that he also has to let her go, and he's not even close to that. I mean, he didn't even get to say goodbye to her. So this whole time, he's been thinking that it's Carrie that's been keeping him here, but it's also himself. In this scene, she sees him and hears him.
So, how are you?
But she just ultimately thinks she's nuts.
Look at me.
This isn't healthy. Not too much salt.
Baby. Look at me.
Yep, you guessed it. Big was causing the beeping. He was controlling the stovetop.
Definitely too much salt.
He was trying to control Carrie's salt intake from the Beyond.
I remember when you kept your sweaters in the stove.
That's some outfit, kid.
And saying things like, I love you, I miss you, let me go, you're the one, me and you, just us two, ever mine, ever thine, ever ours, I'm sorry, don't date Pete, Franklin's cool, Tupac's not dead, God is a woman, Che's not funny, and some winning lotto numbers.
Hello.
Hey, Carrie. I'm here.
I miss you.
After his communication attempts were only heard as beeps and his phone call didn't work because she only heard Anthony, Big tries again.
So this is where you live. About time you invited me out.
But Carrie continues to only hear beeps.
Oh, hi, this is 5D. Yes, hello. That beeping's back.
Big so frustrated he can't communicate, and Carrie is tired of the beeps.
It's the worst thing ever.
This isn't working!
You have to have a place that you like to live.
In this episode, Carrie was supposed to have a seance with Lizette so Big and Carrie could finally communicate with each other. And that ties them together even more and brings Big a little bit more into the mortal realm than he had previously been. Now Carrie can fully see him and hear him, although nobody else can.
Yeah.
What's your relationship? How do you know him?
So now not only is Carrie even less willing and able to let Big go, but Big is less willing and able to leave.
Oh, we don't need sugar.
Of course you don't. Sorry. You keep them.
Sorry about that, ma'am.
Impish.
I was a little intimidated.
Big does not like Pete, and maybe Pete and Carrie would have worked out if Carrie and Lizette hadn't had that seance and brought Big back.
We're not gonna have dinner tonight, are we?
Are you kidding?
I feel so bad.
I appreciate that.
This is not about you.
It's very kind. Get rid of him. No, it's okay. Well, Carrie, that's strike two. One more and we're out.
He's not the guy for you.
I want you to meet someone very special.
How long did you know about it?
All of a sudden, you're part of something bigger than yourself.
I think she asked me to help last week.
I'm very proud.
No, I mean, about her and this Jay.
I haven't heard anything.
She, I guess it's they work at your podcast, right? So, did you introduce them?
Guilt.
Steve, this is just
Oh, no.
so...
I'm sorry. I don't need to get uncomfortable. I'm just trying to get some information here.
I really had absolutely nothing to do with it.
How long ago did this thing start? I mean, you gotta know.
Oh,
Shit, I'm sorry.
Nice paint. Eggshell?
No! Shit! No!
I guess we all make stupid mistakes. This is your punishment.
So basically, this whole scene, Big's proud of Carrie for doing charity work, thinking of somebody other than herself, but then also a little disappointed because Carrie lies to Steve and doesn't give him any information. And I know it's sisters before misters, but Steve is Steve. And then after the whole Steve and Carrie heart-to-heart, they realize that, like Steve, they're both foolishly holding on to something that is no longer there. And so they both decide to move on. And we all know from watching Sam and Dean on Supernatural that the only way to really get rid of a ghost is to get rid of anything that remains of them. Any hair, any bones, any teeth, toenails, anything. So Carrie and Big decide together that she is going to have to scatter his ashes and not keep them like she had planned in order for them to both move on.
Sorry, I panicked.
I get it. This ain't never coming off.
I was a fool in love.
I don't care what Miranda does, and we will. Till death do us part.
And I was a fool in divorce court.
Don't you maybe want to find someone?
I want you to meet someone very special. In the tri-state area?
At some point.
Never coming off.
What are you going to do about sex? I guess you've got it all figured out.
So thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you were like, what the heck did I just watch? That was all the deleted Chris Noth scenes from And Just Like That, Season 1, Episode 1 through 9. The next video coming out is all of the deleted Chris Noth scenes in the Season 1 finale of And Just Like That, where we're going to kind of get a bigger picture of why Big's ashes ended up where they did, and also where his soul is going to end up.
Well, it ain't cold.
Goodbye.